Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, Southwest Airlines pauses hires through 2024. CBP renews expedited hiring authority to hire 200 air interdiction pilots. Boeing pays test and safety pilots almost 30% less than VIP transport. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. Southwest Airlines pauses hires through 2024. A memo from Southwest Airlines has begun circulating on the web, describing the company's plans to halt all hiring through the rest of the calendar year, stating that the company's current size is sufficient for anticipated growth and demand. SWA has already begun rescinding conditional job offers to pilots in its pipeline, with water cooler talk sounding as if those with class dates past April are more likely to be canceled. The carrier offered a consolation prize of moving pilots with the previously issued CJO to the deferred candidate pool for use when hiring starts again. The news was met with a range of pessimism among the online pilot base, being at once an unpromising indicator of corporate health and a validation of rumors about the state of SWA at the ground level. Despite gaining a new contract and some hefty back pay, Southwest pilots have informally and anecdotally reported difficulty padding out their schedules with additional trips. That makes sense, since Boeing 737 MAX 7 remains in bureaucratic limbo along with its larger MAX 9 sibling. Southwest can't go through with growth plans for the rest of the year. And after the break, Women in Corporate Aviation opens 2024 scholarship applications. For 15 years, the Aero-News network has provided live coverage of the annual Aircraft Electronics Association Convention and Trade Show, and we are pleased to do so again this year. Join us March 19th at 8:30 a.m. Central for the AEA opening session and exciting new product introductions, and then again on March 20th and 21st for in-depth interviews with the newsmakers in the avionics industry, live from the exhibit hall floor at airborne-live.net.
I grew up in an aviation family. My dad flew airplanes and flew air shows actually, so ever since I was 3 years old, the only thing I've ever wanted to do was be an air show pilot. It's cliche, but I get to live my dream every single day. I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, the new aerobatic propeller. It's increased the performance of the airplane. It's made the harmonics balance throughout the airplane so much better. By far the best aerobatic propeller that I've ever flown behind.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Women in Corporate Aviation opens 2024 scholarship applications. Women in Corporate Aviation is opening up its 2024 Spring Scholarship Program, citing a, quote, record number of applications, end quote, for its fall offerings. As such, WCA has continued to lean on a lengthening roster of members, sponsors, and volunteers to improve opportunities for young women in aviation. The Spring Scholarship announcement reads, quote, one of our goals is to help provide scholarships to as many people as we can. We have made several significant changes for the Spring Scholarship Program to help us reach out to even more deserving people, end quote. JetBlue pilots continue the contract fight. JetBlue Airways pilots have announced they will continue the fight for a new collective bargaining agreement with the company, following news that the JetBlue-Spirit merger is off. ALPA will continue to represent them at the negotiating table, and the team has got its game face on to, quote, commence bargaining discussions for the pilot group's next contract within the coming months, end quote. Spirit and JetBlue were originally expecting to see their appeal go through the courts in June, but they broke the Monday news cycle with an abrupt and unexpected cancellation of the merger altogether. Sioux Gateway Airport adds flight training. Rev Aviation has begun operations at its 10th campus in Sioux City, Iowa, out of the Sioux Gateway Airport. The firm seems to be ramping up operations everywhere it can, citing the greater industry's need for 2/3 of a million new pilots over the next 2 decades. Rev followed the usual path, building a foundation on Part 61 training until they got critical mass in funding, instructors, office space, and fleet size to take the next step. True Simulation shows off new Veris VR flight sim. Textron's Bell Flight Training Academy will be using a brand new type of virtual reality flight sim at their flagship location, with a brand new Veris VR flight simulator. The unit was recently shown off at the HII Heli Expo 2024, offering clients a clean sheet design that combines a traditional full-motion experience with visual augmentation to make it feel even more like the real thing. Bell Training Academy will be the launch customer for the type and begin using the simulator on the Bell 505 later this year. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. CBP renews expedited hiring authority to hire 200 air interdiction pilots. CBP has reported that their direct hire authority to hire 200 air interdiction agents has been extended through January 30th, 2026. The air interdiction agent position is open to pilots with a minimum of 1,500 flight hours. 500 hours can be waived, including 250 pilot in command, 75 hours of instrument time, and 75 nighttime hours. Assistant Commissioner for Human Resources Management Andrea Bright said, quote, "The extended hiring authority allows us to compete with the aviation community by having the ability to offer on-the-spot tentative job offers to candidates who have been deemed qualified through the screening process." With CBP's air and marine operations, pilots appreciate greater job security and competitive benefits, along with the opportunity to fly multiple platforms and protect their community and nation, end quote. Air interdiction agent applicants undergo a rigorous screening process to ensure their eligibility and suitability for employment in a CBP law enforcement position. Additionally, they must pass a 3-part flight assessment, an oral exam, a flight evaluation, and a structured interview conducted over the course of a single day at the National Air Training Center in Oklahoma City. Applicants then proceed to a 15-week Air and Marine basic training program at the Air and Marine Operations Academy, located in Glencoe, Georgia. And after these messages, Boeing pays test and safety pilots almost 30% less than VIP transport.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Boeing pays test and safety pilots almost 30% less than VIP transport. The Union for Flight Technical and Safety Pilots took issue with Boeing's flight operations group, citing poor pay scales relative to other pilot groups of similar importance at the company. The group checked in on a report drafted by the FAA as it works through safety and production issues at Boeing Corporate, noting a, quote, disconnect between public commitments to safety and quality made by senior executives at Boeing and the situations faced by Boeing employees in the workplace, end quote. The group said that recent negotiations with Boeing have been going somewhat poorly, with the company's reps failing to show up for the last 2 scheduled bargaining sessions. Another red flag for them was the fact that Boeing asked the SPIA's negotiators to sign a retroactive NDA, making sure the union couldn't tell its membership how much they were being underpaid relative to peers at other firms. The collective bargaining agreement governing their duties expires soon, leaving them in the lurch. In the course of negotiations, SWA found that the company is content to offer tech and safety pilots 28.6% less than the pilots who fly company execs around on their in-house aircraft. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.